Very good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, morning. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
With your blessings, can we start with the program, ma'am?
Yes, please do so.
Thank you so much.
Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society and in every family. A very good morning to our chief guest, Dr. Kshama Metre, Professor Barbara Cangan, President SIIRM in absentia, Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, Secretary and CEO SIIRM, Dr. Terjani Goyal, Director FMS-IRM, all members of Management Board, Board of Studies, Academic Council and Governing Board, members of all institutions under the SIIRM Consortium, distinguished guests, proud alumni, faculty members, staff and dear students. I, Dr. 𝗬𝗵𝗴𝗏, on behalf of SIIRM, welcome you to the 9th Social Thought Leadership Lecture Series 2022 and Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award 2022, organized in profound memory of our founder president, late Dr. Thomas Cangan sir. Our beloved Cangan sir, a leader with a vision to create a knowledge society by empowering the youth through education, research and life skills, which would prepare them to take on life and its challenges fair and square. He always thought of the larger good and how every citizen can contribute in order to create an aware and conscious society on the principles of caring and sharing. The Thought Leadership Lecture was initiated to fulfill the wish of Dr. Cangan, who always used to say that sharing of knowledge and experience is the greatest contribution for creating a knowledge society. Therefore, every year we felicitate the great personalities who have kindled the curiosity of innovation in their respective fields. In the past, visionaries like Mr. Anil Agarwal, founder and chairman Vedanta Group, Dr. 𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗏, Group Additional Vice Chancellor, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Foundation, Amity University, Ms. Neeta Bojra, former President, FICCI Ladies Organization, Dr. Ellen Bhagat, former President, AIMS and Group Director, Mr. Abhay Anand, founder, Super 30, Dr. Stany Thomas, Missile Woman of India, Mr. Rajendra Singh, Waterman of India, Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize Laureate, and Mr. Sanjeev Bunkar Roy, social activist, have been felicitated with this award. Today, we are extremely honored and proud to have amongst us a doctor and a rural development activist, Dr. Kshama Metre, National Director for 𝗬𝗵𝗏𝗏 Organization for Rural Development. Dr. Metre, fondly called Dr. Didi, is on a constant quest to discover her inner wealth through work and wisdom. She founded 𝗏𝗏 in 2003, which is a participatory, comprehensive, integrated and sustainable rural development project. 𝗏𝗏 aims to promote sustainable development in India through various activities which are executed through self-help groups. Rather than just giving aid, 𝗏𝗏 focuses on helping people by teaching them necessary skills to be self-sufficient and independent. This community-based organization works around multiple issues such as nutrition, sanitation, alcohol abuse, gender discrimination, livelihood promotion, microcredit, and so much more. 𝗏𝗏 has its presence in 6 states and reaches out directly to more than 5.5 lakh people annually. Dr. Kshama Metre was awarded the Padma Shri for Social Service in 2008. She was selected as an eminent citizen to independently monitor and strengthen the implementation of Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005 by Ministry of Rural Development. She has trained over 40,000 people for excellence in rural development, for rural immersion of NGOs, government functionaries, bankers, national and international students, interns, volunteers and fellows. I might not be able to do justice with my words to the laurels Dr. Matre has received, but can only make an attempt to name a few. Healthcare Humanitarian Award in 2021 by Union State Ministry of Health and Welfare, Women Empowerment Award in 2019 by Indian Medical Association, Prerna Srot Award in 2018 in recognition of 34 years of service to people of rural Himachal Pradesh, the Guardian International Development Achievement Award in 2012 by the Guardian UK. She has also featured in books called Women of Pure Wonder and Prophets of New India. Dr. Didi, it is a matter of pride and honor for us to be in your gracious presence this morning. 𝗓𝗏𝗚, भाषा पर मुझको अधिकार देमा, भावों का नया संसार देमा, कलम को मेरी संस्कार देमा, शब्दों का मुझको भंडार देमा, कल्पनाओं को नए आधार देमा. With these thoughts, I request our esteemed dignitaries to please proceed for the lighting of the lamp.
Saraswati Mahabhadra, Mahamaya Varaprada, Shriprada Padmanilaya, 𝗏𝗵𝗴𝗵 𝗏𝗵𝗱 पुस्तकभृत् ज्ञानमुद्रा रमापरा कामरूपा महाविद्या महापातकनाशिनी.
Thank you everyone. अतिथि सत्कार बिना हर अरदास अधूरी होती है. अतिथि सत्कार बिना हर अरदास अधूरी होती है. अतिथि ही वो फरिश्ते हैं जिनके आने से हर आस पूरी होती है. With these lines, to formally welcome our chief guest and other dignitaries, I would like to invite Dr. Terjani Goyal, Director FMS-IRM, for the welcome address. Thank you, Dr. Tanya. It is with great pride, honor and humility that I stand before you today to deliver the welcome address on the 9th Thought Leadership Lecture and Award Series of Society of Indian Institute of Rural Management. A very warm and hearty welcome to the august gathering present here. The chief guest of the occasion, Dr. Kshama Metre, Founder and Director CORD, Professor Barbara Cangan, President SIIRM in absentia, Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, Secretary and CEO SIIRM, dignitaries, invited guests, fellow head of the institutions, parents, alumni members, students, and people who have joined us nationally and internationally. On behalf of the organizing committee of the Thought Leadership Lecture Series, I am delighted, honored, and privileged to welcome our celebrated guest of the occasion, Dr. Kshama Metre, profoundly known as Dr. Didi. I am humbled to introduce Dr. Kshama Metre, Founder and Director, 𝗬𝗏 Organization for Rural Development. A pediatrician by profession, Dr. Metre left her flourishing medical practices to serve the tribal village of rural India. She is an early pioneer of microfinance movement in India, and she has been awarded with the highest award in the field of social service, the Padma Shri. Dr. Metre has also emphasized the bottom-up approach of tackling poverty and engaging the marginalized in transforming their own conditions. Dr. Metre has been the recipient of several awards, including the Guardian of International Development Achievement Award. Ma'am, we look forward for your enlightening address on the occasion. We treasure with great respect and honor the First Lady of SIIRM, Madam President, Professor Barbara Cangan, in absentia due to her health issues, whose extraordinary inspiration, leadership and dedication and expertise have elevated and advanced the consortium of SIIRM.
As the country rejoices, 𝗂𝗏𝗕 the management of the Indian Institute of Rural Management, celebrates the outstanding contribution of Dr. Metre. We hope that the message of this award will resonate on a larger plane. With these words, I once again extend my hearty welcome to the August campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The journey always takes precedence over the destination. Even though the destination keeps the journey going, but at the end of the day, it's the journey and its ups and downs around which stories are weaved. There were obstacles, there were doubts, and there were mistakes. But with hard work, persistence, and determination, the road of success came through. This is how the vision of SIIRM came into existence. Let's have a look at the same with a short film. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. I would request Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, Secretary and CEO SIIRM, to please address our audience.
Respected Professor Baba Cangan, President SIIRM Consortium, our Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. Kshama Metre, all the members of the SIIRM family, students, colleagues, and guests who have joined us from far and wide. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the entire teaching fraternity at SIIRM and Professor Baba Cangan, I would like to sincerely apologize for her absence. Due to some unavoidable circumstances, Professor Baba Cangan could not be present with us here today. At the same time, I am truly honored that she has bestowed upon me the responsibility to address you all on the occasion of such a pious gathering. Today we are gathered here to commemorate the far-sightedness of our founder president, Dr. Thomas Cangan, who firmly believed in the dissemination of quality education, especially to the people belonging to rural areas. The journey that he took was certainly not an easy one. Each path has its own challenges, its own tests, its own failures, and its own rewards. But Dr. Cangan was not one to give up that easily. His mission started off with the establishment of the Institute of Rural Management in the year 1988. Many people questioned the wisdom of starting an institute devoted to rural education and development in the heart of the Pink City. They even cast serious doubts over the financial viability of such a project. But he was not one to back up that easily. Rather than expending his reserves on a backup plan, he doubled his efforts and devoted himself even more to the cause that he so firmly believed in. The result? An institute that bloomed and blossomed into a research center of national and international appeal, and now stands as a consortium of over 14 educational institutions operating all over the vast state of Rajasthan. Was this resounding success due to his ability to take the right decisions? The answer is contained in an interesting and thought-provoking dialogue which took place between Dr. Cangan and a senior alumnus on the occasion of an annual meet of the Alumni Association. The alumnus asked Dr. Cangan, "Sir, what is the secret of your success and meteoric rise?" Dr. Cangan replied, 2 words, right decisions. The alumnus asked, "How do you make the right decisions?" Dr. Cangan replied, 1 word, experience. The alumnus further inquired, "So how do you attain such an experience?" Dr. Cangan smilingly replied, 2 words, wrong decisions. I remember asking him of how he managed to stay afloat in the most troubled of times, to which he would reply, "Experience is a cruel teacher. It gives the test first and the lesson afterwards." His determination was unshakable, his belief unquestionable, and for him failure was unacceptable. Dr. Thomas Cangan Thought Leadership Lecture Series and the Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award has thus been instituted to honor dignitaries and luminaries who are revolutionary innovators and talent seekers, just like Dr. Thomas Cangan. Individuals who have stared into the abyss and have challenged the unknown and unfathomable. People who have led their lives by example and have chosen to inspire and motivate the young minds to excel in their chosen spheres of life. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Kshama Metre for her immense contributions of sterling value in the facilitation of sustainable development in rural India, called CORD, Chinmaya Organization for Rural Development, is the service wing of 𝗬𝗵cije Mission and operates as a trust and as an NGO. Similar to SIIRM, 𝗬𝗏 has been active in the field of holistic rural development for over 2 decades. 𝗏 facilitates integrated, participatory and sustainable rural development in villages of Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh through guidance, funding and monitoring. In closing, I would like to extend my most sincere gratitude to Dr. Kshama Metre for being a part of this pious program and inspiring all of us. Also, I would like to thank all the participants for joining us from far and wide and aiding us in carrying forward the mission and vision of our founder president, Dr. Thomas Cangan. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, sir, for your pearls of wisdom. वो खुद ही नाप लेते हैं बुलंदी आसमानों की, वो खुद ही नाप लेते हैं बुलंदी आसमानों की, परिंदों को नहीं तालीम दी जाती उड़ानों की। महकना और महकाना तो काम है खुशबू का, महकना और महकाना तो काम है खुशबू का, खुशबू नहीं मोहताज होती कदरदानों की। Dr. Metre, you are an embodiment of selflessness and a perfect example of how to go beyond the boundaries and make contributions for the larger good. Any country is as good as its citizens, and therefore we would love to benefit from your thoughts on our participation central to country's development. But before that, we'll have a short video on 𝗏 followed by her address.
𝗏 was formed in 2003 to scale and replicate nationally and work under the Chinmaya Rural Primary Healthcare and Training Center in Himachal Pradesh since 1985. 𝗏 is working in 972 villages in 6 states of India. Beginning its work in 1985 with maternal and child health in rural communities, 𝗏 learned that an isolated health program only covered a fraction of the village's problems. They are endlessly caught in a cycle of poverty, ill health, and lack of access to livelihood opportunities. Although the government have programs on various issues, there is a huge gap between the policymakers and the communities. There was a need to address the local issues of the villagers, providing local solutions. Thus, 𝗏 intervened with a vision to transform people's lives in rural India by empowering them to become the drivers of change. The 𝗏 model is built on 4 core principles: active participation, integration, sustainability, and networking, with Gram Panchayat as a unit of implementation. 𝗏 builds and nurtures community-based organization ward-wise as per the Gram Panchayat structure. It also encourages people to participate in local self-governance. So far, comprehensive program has impacted almost 5.5 lakh people in rural India. Program components include CBOs of women, men, and adolescent girls and children. Integrated programs including microcredits through SHGs, livelihoods in farm and allied sector, and non-farm and service sector, informal legal aid and social justice, community health, nutrition and sanitation program, also providing OPD services and preventing alcohol and drug abuse through awareness, community-based rehabilitation for persons with disabilities, natural resource management such as plantations, chauka system and springed management. 𝗏 Training Center has trained more than 45,000 people from various backgrounds globally, including bankers, government employees, and NGO functionaries. It also collaborates with universities, colleges, and institutions to enhance experiential research. Dr. Kshama Metre is the National Director and Trustee of 𝗏. She has received Padma Shri, Guardian International Development Achievement Award and Prerana Strot Award. 𝗏's future expansion would be to the most marginalized, remote and unreached backward areas. God envisages rural prosperity the rural way by preserving and enhancing rural India's immense diversity and its varied hues of life.
Ma'am?
Thank you and I'm very happy to be with you all today. My sincere pranams to Dr. Barbara Cangan, who's not here. I wish her a very good recovery. I'm also very grateful to all of you who are here. Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, the president of SIIRM, the other dignitaries and your faculties of the consortium of SIIRM, and your guests as well as the students that are here. It gives me a great honor to be here with you on the 16th Punyatithi, an auspicious day of Dr. Thomas Cangan, who has been a founder of the SIIRM Consortium, who has been a visionary of par excellence and a person of benevolent educationist. It has been very great for me to be with you all and to understand the expansive work that the SIIRM consortiums do. I'm also very happy to join you in your celebrations on the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And I would like to, at the very outset, make a little correction. I am not the founder of 𝐶𝗵𝗴 Organization for Rural Development. It was founded earlier by our very beloved Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda in 1985, which then got formed into 𝐶𝗵𝗴 in 2003, but I've been associated with this since 1985. Today, I would be talking on our participation central to our country's development. Just a month ago, on 15th August, on the 75th year of our independence, we marked the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. From this 75th year to our 100th year, that is a period of 25 years, we will be in what is known as a Amrit Kal. And this is the Kal for all of us to commit ourselves and to make our great dedication and commitment to the country to shape the great nation that India is for the 25 years that we have. The Amrit Kal has 5 themes. One is the commemoration of the history of our country, the achievements at 75, the actions that we need to take at 75. That means about our policies and our commitment to its actualization, as well as the ideas and the ideals that have shaped the country and that will guide and navigate us through the 75th year to the 100th year. And the last one is the resolve at 75. That means that the resolve for all of
There seems to be a network issue, and we'll have a speaker back soon.
Sorry for the interruption here. As I was talking about the Amrit Mahotsav, And after the resolve at 75, where we commit ourselves to play our role as best as we can to give our best to the country that has the next 25 years, with all of us getting involved, especially, I would say, the students who are young and who will be in their productive years. Late on 15th August, from the ramps of the Lal Killa, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji also talked about 5 other promises. The developed nation, a nation that is proud of its heritage and its civilization, free from its colonial slavery, and standing with solidarity and the duties of the citizens. So he has given us a lot of thought. The Amrit Kal themes and those that were spoken by our Prime Minister have given us enough thought for us to build up on it. But since I think it's the students who are going to be the most important caretakers of this call, as they will be the ones who are in their productive years, I would want them to think, what is their age now? And what will be their age 25 years later? What do they want our country to be in this 25 years? How do they think that they can contribute to making our great country even greater? It is for them to really reflect and think and actually commit themselves to a path that they would be taking in these 75 years. They must think Bharat, they must think big. It is time for all of us to resolve and act, but I think the youngsters must resolve and act now. They must make a resolution about what they would like to do, how would they like to participate. It is a clarion call to them in our Amrit Mahotsav and also in this Amrit Kal. It is time to question seriously and think fervently how they find the answers. Here I would like to talk about my own days as a student so that we could relate. Many years ago, when I was young, like the students here, and entered the medical college, in the dissection hall, we asked 2 questions that plagued us through our life in the hostel. One was, while dissecting the dead bodies, we looked at the bodies and said, then who am I? And the second question was, what is love? We argued in the hostel, could not find answers. Anyway, life went on. Later on, as we became young doctors, we realized that in a big referral hospital in Delhi, where we receive people from all over the surrounding states, that a lot of us who were privileged to receive such good education needed to move out into the rural area. It was only in 1985 that I met Param Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, and all the answers that we were seeking were answered from the Bhagavad Gita, which I heard the first time from him. And later on, I got an opportunity to serve a new program that was starting for maternal and child health for people in the remote villages of Himachal Pradesh. It was 37 years ago. I have never looked back since then. Have learned immensely in the inception of our work. More about our learnings later. But the purpose of sharing the story was to resonate with the students who, like us at that time, are now seeking and exploring with themselves to find a meaning and purpose in life. Perhaps the real question that we need to ask is not what we will become. It is how we will become what we will become. That is, how will we contribute? So it is about finding your passion, the issues you care about, recognize it, and light the spark within you. Do what you love and love what you do. Do not accept the status quo. Have the guts to disrupt the status quo if required. Have the curiosity, dare to care. If you couple your talents with your passion and your interest, you will be unstoppable. For this, our active conscious participation is required. Most of you may be wondering what we learned in our very fledgling years. There were 3-4 things that we learned very easily, that when working with the women and actually doing deliveries in the remote villages at night under a kerosene lamp, we came in close contact with the people, and we realized that an isolated program is not going to do much. It is only the tip of the iceberg. For the very poor, underprivileged, multi-pronged, multidisciplinary programs need to be reached out. The other point that we learned was the government programs were very good at the top. On paper, they were very good. Most of them ran parallel to each other. Their targets were the same, the poorest of the poor, but they missed most of their targets. The third thing that we learned while working outside was that the extension frontline workers of the government and the middle level officers were, because of the top-down approach, were more answerable to their senior officers and bosses rather than to the communities. Therefore, the realities of the grassroots never reached them. And fourth, but very important, was the apathy that we saw in the villages. They had developed this attitude over the years. They were not involved, they were unaware and uninterested, just because they were taken down by so much that they were involved in. But soon enough, when we talked to them, we learned from them, we understood them, we invoked their insights and wisdom. We began to synergize our thoughts with them, find solutions, make decisions with them, plan and implement, and amazing things began to happen that were so very empowering to all of us. Their participation was so very a game changer, actually. So while we are talking about our learnings, I would also like to talk about why participation is so important. Whether we are underprivileged, we are privileged, or we live in rural India or in urban India. 18% of the global population lives in India. The huge population of the vast, rich diversity of this country demands relevant and sustainable local solutions that will mitigate the inevitable problems that we face by leveraging the untapped and dormant resources that we have, both human and non-human resources. The problems are many. There are no simple solutions. There are no identical solutions. There are no broad solutions. There are no fixed solutions. It is a huge country with great diversity. One size does not fit all. Local decentralized solutions planned and implemented with local active participation will synchronize to make India a great, dignified country. Moreover, we need not follow and copy others blindly. Let us be proud of our diverse, rich culture and heritage. Be India-centric. The model for India is in India. India has poverty, but India is not poor. India has illiteracy, but Indians are not without knowledge. Therefore, learning about the people, understanding them is very important for the students to participate. Some of you might need some exposure. Go around this country, learn and contribute. Be like a scientist. Observe and make your plans. When we engage, involve, observe, learn, the patterns that emerge guide us to solutions and deeper insights. Wisdom that we consistently and persistently improve. I would now request, please, for a slide screen sharing. Let me now briefly share with you 𝗏's journey in rural India. It's its fledgling years. क्या हो गया? Disabled is to share the screen.
Ma'am, we've shared the rights with you.
Yeah, thank you. So in our fledgling years, we learned much about participation that led to our vision, mission, principles, and strategy, and a systemic operation model of comprehensive holistic work. Now, let me tell you that why participation that is quoted all over the world is so important, because in the name of participation, a lot of passive kind of participation goes on. The difference between active and passive participation needs to be understood. Active participation makes people independent and interdependent, whereas passive participation, like welfare programs or other programs where we think that they are passive, we say they are participating actively, but the result will be that they will be dependent. They'll still use a crutch to support themselves. In active participation, it is process-oriented. So being process-oriented, it may take time, but what happens is sustainable. In passive participation, most of the programs, very often, sadly, the government programs are very target-oriented and people are not very much involved in the process. In active participation, the people themselves influence the program because they take part in decisions, planning, implementation, monitoring and evaluation, and modifying the programs as is required. And it doesn't happen so in the passive type. Because of the time, the effort, and the involvement, and sometimes the small contributions that they make to us program, ownership in active participation is very high. And it is naturally follows a sustainable pattern. And because when a whole lot of people come to programs together to design programs, it doesn't remain isolated because there are many issues. Automatically, the program becomes integrated and comprehensive and holistic. In this kind of a program that addresses the issues, success is inevitable. And all the people who participate become effective change agent. And in the other one, if sustainability fizzles away and there is absolutely mostly isolated program, no involvement of the people. Next, please. So I'm sharing this vision because this is something replicable all over the country and we could do it. So we developed a vision which is to harness human resources and enable the poor to transform their lives through programs driven by themselves. Next, please. The mission was to facilitate participatory and integrated sustainable development for the poor. Facilitation is through active participation, as I said earlier. From the very beginning, we remain with our strategy and principles that without participation, there's nothing that will go forward. Everything needs to be integrated. From the very beginning, sustainability should be our aim and goal. And we are not working in a vacuum. Network with all partners around you, whether government or non-government, and involve the people through their nurturing of their community-based organizations. When a program we work with like this, naturally becomes, a large part of the programs become self-participatory. And some have to be services where people need some services, but most of it, which is at the grassroots primary level, becomes self-participatory. Like economics, governance, education, environment, social justice, preventive and promotive health, and community-based rehabilitation of the disabled, single women, whatever the program be, they become very participatory. There may be some services that we might have to give, like primary health treatment, disability treatment and rehabilitation, social justice, where it is required to go to the court. And for all the programs, a lot of training are required. Throughout the program, because of the participation, inner self-unfoldment of the people is a continuous process. Next, please. Now, I would like to talk about that in rural India, participatory work can be grown with gigantic steps, which we have formed, and we are doing in 200 Gram Panchayats now. It's a focused Gram Panchayat model. India has more than 640 villages, 269,000 panchayats. And we have a very good constitution of local self-governance. Of course, in many places it is defunct, but the constitutionally empowered local self-government is in place, where about 30 to 32 lakh people are elected every 5 years. It's not about representative governance, it is about participatory government. So in our different states, like in Himachal Pradesh, the people here say that in Delhi, Simla, Hamari Sarkar, Gaon mein Hum Sarkar. This is the kind of reality that has to emerge from the people. Once that they understand this, and the areas that are very weak that we found was that the government programs run parallel to each other, they do not converge to the person that is required. Even the elected members of the Gram Panchayat are not connected in the sense of providing the delivery to the last person. Therefore, what we only did was to form at the sub-primary level, at the very grassroots level, in every ward of the panchayat, because the panchayat is divided into its subunits called the ward. And so it was very easy for us to connect with the people who then go to the Upgram Sabha and the Gram Sabha with whatever the resolutions they have, and those get implemented. In this way, we are able to leverage the government programs, work with our own programs, and the return on investment is very high. This type of programs where we work like this is socially acceptable. It is actually socially desirable and politically acceptable. Economically, they are viable. Administratively, they are doable. And what is more, technically, they are feasible now. And of course, judicially, it is permissible. So this has a great scale for replication all over the country. And This is what I wanted to share and would invite many of you to come and see the power of participation of the people, where multiple things are happening at the same time with people taking charge. And the sharing of this we can stop the slide presentation. The sharing of this whole thing was to demonstrate that everyone in the country is capable of participating, becoming a catalyst of positive change. It could be as an individual becoming a conscious and responsible citizen, providing direct purposeful service, or it could be through our expertise, bringing about larger systematic transformation through our innovative ideas. Focus on what we know, and the possibilities are many. Unleash our potentials. Once you decide to stand up, start. With experience, one window will lead to another window opening that will take you further forward. Connect to your chosen field with enthusiasm, happiness, and love from your inner reality of joy. Storm to perform. You will be infectious. Many others will join you seeing your joy. Be a risk taker. Be a pathfinder and a path maker. Build your vision. Be a job creator rather than a job seeker. Have firm faith in your ability, and God, Bhagwan, who created you, will support you. You will find the greater the goal, greater will be the energy and ability you will have to face challenges. When you work with passion and diligence, the cosmos opens up its treasures, and many others from unknown direction will come to support you. However, there is no alternative to hard work. There is no shortcut to success. For those who take some time, wake up from your slumber, wake up and arise. Let us come out of our shell of me, myself, and I. Start with your family. Yes, when we look after our family, well, we contribute to national building too. India's strength is in the family system to a large degree. Be conscious of the needs of the other members of the family. The interdependency ingrained in the family provides security and support. So my prayers, my request to the students is, please look after your old age people, the old citizens of our country. Unfortunately, we are breaking the system. Loneliness in India too is rising, especially the growing senior citizens. And some of them are being abandoned. This is occurring not only because of loss of family structure, but because we are losing our values and spirituality, becoming very individualistic and self-centered. From the family, grow your wings to participate in greater responsibilities of the country. Thought by thought, action by action, you, the students, will be sculpting the future of our country. You are the future. 1/5 of youth globally are Indians. Our population of youth 15 to 29 years constitutes 27.5%, very large chunk. You, the youth, have the energy, the enthusiasm, the ideas, the vitality and vigor, physical ability and freshness of interpretation and perceptions. You are smart, tech-savvy, digitally entrenched population who can shift a cause, a movement at a pace never seen before. Be the generation that pushes Bharat to its exponential heights in the Amrit Kaal, leading to the 100th year of independence. The IRM group, inspired by its visionary, founder Dr. Thomas Cangan must be having many teachers who, by their being and examples, encourage you daily in your patriotic duty towards our glorious country with its magnificent ancient civilization. Teachers who encourage students to ask questions and answer them patiently will inspire youth, both the average and the extraordinary. When our admirable former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, was studying in the school in Rameshwaram, his teacher, Sri 𝗧𝗵mě Iyer, taught his class how birds fly. When the children did not understand it fully, he took them to the seashore to see the birds fly and explain to them with real visuals the flight of the birds. Abdul Kalam, then a 10-year-old child, was fascinated. His teacher advised him, when you grow up, become an engineer, and later he became an aeronautical engineer. Rest is history. The Indian mission man, our ex-president. Salutations to all such teachers. Salutations to Dr. Thomas Cangan, who has started a conservative of education. The seeds sown by teachers become trees so huge that shelter many. With our active participation, each one of us in the development of our country, let us pray that India becomes a country of plenty in wisdom and wealth, where progress is judged by inner spiritual evolution, strength by renunciation and sacrifice, where power comes from the ability to serve efficiently and judiciously with dedication and commitment. To that India of our dream, let us bow ahead and give our best. We can, we must. With these few words and with our salutations to the great leader, Dr. Thomas Cangan, I end my talk here. Thank you so much for the time that you have given me. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your words, I'm sure, have triggered thoughts in the minds of the youth, which will sensitize them and push them towards being better and duty-bound citizens. As you have agreed to our kind request, so anyone who wishes to ask any questions may please come up and ask.
I would be very happy if people ask questions.
Ma'am, we have one of the students.
Yes, please.
Hello, ma'am. My question is, what are the difficulties in making women the powerhouse?
The challenge and the difficulty in empowering women is our thinking that they cannot be empowered. In fact, they are already empowered. I worship the women in our country, especially the women in rural India. They have so much tenacity, so much potential. It is only for us to be like a sculptor. What is already there, the statue is already there. You just shape it around, and miracles happen. Of course, there may be certain gender discriminations, but then it is about dialogues and intercomplementary talks that remove. I think the women in India are really growing very fast and are participating beautifully. The opportunity that they have received to take part in local self-government, we have more than 50% of women who are elected leaders. They have shown their potential in many ways, and I now see many girl students doing very well in many institutions, topping. So it's all about opportunities, I think, more about opportunities that you give. The challenges in life come to all of us, whether it is in empowerment or wherever we are. The challenge becomes a situation a challenge or a crisis, it depends on us who's facing the challenge. If I have the ability to face it, then it's just a situation. If I don't have a ability to face it, becomes a crisis. For a woman, if her husband doesn't smile when he comes back from office, it might be a crisis. So it all depends on the ability that we have built amongst ourselves and that we build in women to face various challenges in life. Challenges come to us unasked. They come all the time. Life is a series of challenges. So I wouldn't say that challenges are particularly disempowering for women. It is their underprivileged status which is very disempowering.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, we have another question.
Thank you.
Hari Om, ma'am. And my question is, what is the effect of microfinance on income generation activities?
That's a beautiful question. I think the microfinance credit movement in India has been the largest movement ever in credit finance. It has shown us so many directions in empowering people with their livelihoods, whether it is in the farm sector and it's a light sector, or it's in the non-farm sector with productions of items, or within the service sector. But what I would like all of you to understand that does not talk about direct economic effects of self-help groups. Other effects have been that many children of the poor people have been financed by the microcredit system for their higher education, as well as the provision of being able to manage microcredit has empowered women in many ways that we would not be aware about. Instead of thinking that 100 women requiring help through self-help group movement, think of 100 women who are empowered as change agents. That is the difference that the microfinance has brought about in the country. Each woman is learning to grow and even take 1 or 2 people under her, some of them even more, in her work. So it's very empowering.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, we have one last question.
Thank you.
Hello, Hari Om, ma'am.
Hari
My
Om.
question is, how can the student community ensure active participation?
Open your eyes. Look around. First of all, you take, each step, a student who's inspired, take the step. Once you take the step, you will be able to inspire many other people to come. Just like in your college, especially in management, you have many focus group discussions, dialogues, decision making. You will find that participation is all about involving people in your discussions. Everyone has an idea. It is about the facilitator who's running the participation, that how we conduct ourselves to make everyone participate and give their ideas to the pool. And then, of course, if a few people work very diligently and work passionately, they inspire many more to come because they see a lot of joy in you. It's very fulfilling. The award is in the participation work that you do itself. It's not about anything as money. Money is required by us, but the award is in the job itself of the participation, how you make people do, how you yourself change. Actually, we are the first beneficiary of the whole participatory program. You get so much of fulfillment. So just go ahead and do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, just 3-4 minutes more of your precious time. We have one last question. The audience
Sure.
is so eager to know so much about God.
I'd love to answer.
Just one more question. So please.
Good afternoon, Dr. Kshama. I am 𝐂𝐴𝐴 Director NGO wing IIRM.
Dr.
So
𝗧𝗵cie.
in Rajasthan, rainfall is very scanty and groundwater is the main source for drinking water. And you see there is salinity problem in drinking water due to which various waterborne diseases are created. So many MBA students are sitting here. They are anxious to know what are waterborne disease. Please clarify.
Okay. The question is about the polluted groundwater or polluted surface water?
Due to salinity, due to various salt contents, this is creating various disease in human body. What are type of this waterborne disease? MBA students are very anxious to know from you, ma'am.
Okay. See, some of the waterborne diseases that are very common are due to pathogens. And most of the common ones are the gastrointestinal disorders like diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, then viral jaundice. These are very common, infectious hepatitis. But in certain areas in our country, they may be due to certain high content of certain minerals like arsenic. So one has to be, I don't think it's in Rajasthan, not in Rajasthan that I know there are pockets in UP and others, but I don't know what districts in Rajasthan have. There have been methods of how to use the top level of water because underground level is very much polluted. So they're trying ways, but of course this is a very big problem all over the country. And if you cannot disinfect the water at the source because of certain issues like it is open source water, then it is important that we teach the people in their homes how to use bleaching powder in the water that they use. If they can boil, of course, there's nothing like boiling, but many people cannot afford that. So the bleaching tablets are available through the primary health care centers and the sub-centers, health sub-centers, they can use that. Have I answered your question or have I not, Dr. 𝗧𝗵cie?
Remedial measures you will suggest to remove the salt contents from drinking water?
Yeah, the salt content is a very technical question. It's a hydrogeological question. First, we have to really analyze which are the salts that are heavy metals if they're present. And then find methods because I am not doing work in that much, but I have partners who work on this direction called the People's Science Institute. They're working in certain areas with arsenic. I do not know whether they're working with any other salts or metals or elements. I would not know. Could refer you to them for salts.
Creating a cancer disease in human body. So this cannot be removed by RO itself, except what we have to do, we have to see this groundwater structure and new groundwater structure has to be tested with the state groundwater department.
Yes.
You suggest some other remedial measures that how this nitrate can be removed from this groundwater?
Doctor, I would not know because I'm not working in that area, but I could guide you to like People's Science Institute in Dehradun that are working in this direction.
Thank
you. Ma'am, Dattaji from our audience wants to know whether CORD has a Jaipur chapter and how can we join CORD if we want to?
Okay, it's we do not yet have any site in Rajasthan, but God welcomes everyone as volunteers, interns, or fellows. All they have to do is to apply to us at 𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗹 𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗹. I will give that email ID again. It's just simple, 𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗹@gmail.com. If they write to us, we have a very good program for all types. We have had people all over the globe, lots of people from our country who join us as volunteers or interns. So I would welcome them. Just write to us. And since you run a rural management institute, you could do that. And we have a website called @cordindia.in, @cordindia.in. So they can, look up our programs and apply.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on further with the program, Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award recognizes the great efforts of distinguished personalities who have spent their life for fulfillment of their vision, a vision for the development of mankind. As a token of our respect to such eminent personalities, we felicitate them with Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award. Today, we are extremely delighted and glad to felicitate Dr. Kshama Metre with the Dr. Thomas Cangan Leadership Award for the year 2022. To solemnize the achievements of our respected guests, I request Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, Secretary and CEO SIIRM, to please felicitate Dr. Metre and honor her with the citation.
This award is conferred on Dr. Kshama Metre in recognition of her outstanding contribution in the field of rural development through a comprehensive, integrated and sustainable community-driven rural development project called 𝗬𝗵𝐴 Organization for Rural Development in order to uplift the lives of men, women and children across rural India. She has been the recipient of a plethora of prestigious honors including Padma Shri for Social Work, Women of the Year, National Women Commission Award, Guardian International Development Achievement Award for her contributions to the society. As the Institute is celebrating the 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗃 𝗪𝒛, it gives us immense pleasure to acknowledge the recall of the contributions made by her to the country. Dr. Metre has made profound and significant contributions to alleviating poverty and aiding the development of our country by dedicating her life to rural development, which has directly and indirectly transformed countless lives. As a doctor, social reformist, feminist, humanitarian, Dr. Metre has rendered outstanding services to the Indian society, especially the rural community, and is an embodiment of humility and selflessness. Thank you, ma'am. We would also like to honor you with the Dr. Thomas Cangan Social Leadership Award 2022.
I'm very honored.
Thank you, sir. With this, we come to an end of the splendid program. I request Dr. Gaurav Malpani, Professor FMS-IRM, to extend the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. I deem it great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. Thereafter, I would like to thank Madam President for her stewardship, support, vision and commitment. I thank to our chief guest, Dr. Kshama Metre, who despite of her busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. I also express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Stany Thomas Cangan, CEO and Secretary, SIIRM, for his unstinted support for this function. I also express my thanks to Dr. Terjani Goyal, Director, FMS-IRM Jaipur, who is instrumental in making this event a successful event. My heartfelt thanks to the HOIs of various institutions and the faculty members for their valuable contribution in all our efforts. I owe special gratitude to the non-teaching staff who have worked hard to ensure that this occasion becomes a memorable success. Finally, I leave you with this inspiring quote of Martin Luther King: "An individual has not started living until he rises above the confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concern of all humanity." Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You.